Okay, everybody, we're back with the greater than good. And today's guest, it's an honor to be sitting with Brittney Obray because she has an amazing story to tell. And I think that if we can just reach one person, affect one life, it'd be a win. But of course, we want to try and impact as many as we possibly can. So, Brittney, welcome to the greater than good.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here and have you help me spread my story and see what we can do to make a change for sure. So
And it was a story that as I was scrolling through TikTok, as the kids do, I got to monitor my kids, right? See what they're up to. So I follow them everywhere. But one TikTok just like totally resonated. I mean, I just stopped and I see this beautiful boy just giving out flowers. So like all these girls, and I'm thinking, playa, awesome.
Yeah,
and then as you dig deeper, you figure like, wow, I mean, this is a kid with a heart of gold. And I think that's where you come in. So you want to talk a little bit about him?
yeah. So Dexton was my firstborn, my heart and soul. Just from the day he was born, you just knew he was meant for bigger things in life. And just anybody that even as a baby came across him, he would just captured their heart and soul. And he just always wanted to make sure everyone was okay and everyone was happy. And he would walk into a room and he would just, light up the room. And he just made an impact wherever he went. So, but yeah, so as he going to the video, he really had a crush on a girl that year. And but it was like he didn't want to leave anybody out. You get into that fourth grade year and you're starting to like girls and everybody's like got a Valentine. And so he came up with the idea. He said, why don't we just get everybody a flower? Why don't we ever just get everybody, a rose? And so we're like, oh my gosh, that's the greatest idea ever. And so me and his dad, while he was at school, went to the store and bought all these flowers and took him to school. And I remember him coming out and he was just bright red and he was just like, oh my gosh, this is happening, and he handed out those roses and those girls, just to see the impact by just a boy, just a boy that everybody just loved, and just giving them a rose, the meaning of that to them, you didn't realize the impact it had at that moment until until we had to bury Dexton and go through that when they showed up on my door and the tears that they shedded and told me the memory of that rose and that day that he gave that to them and the impact that had on them. It was just like, holy cow, one simple kind act went that far. So
Right. And you just said something that I think every parent just dreads. It's our worst nightmare when we buried him. And so for a kid who had a smile like Dex and a heart like Dex, what happened?
It's really hard because he cared so much. And as when you care so much, I feel like you take on a lot of burdens that you're trying to just make everybody happy and just make the world a better place. And that's a lot for a teenager or a kid to have to take on. And in our eyes as parents, it was just, he's just a happy kid. He's just a good kid. And I think there was just more that we didn't see. He, from what we found out, he suffered from depression, a darker depression that I would never even have imagined he was going through, because he hid it so well behind that smile. And he just suffered from a depression and he took his own life. And that's just, I don't even know how to describe that when you find your son. And it's just like, wow, you didn't even know. And
How old was he?
so he was 14 14, just barely a freshman. Um, he was going to be a starter of the football team as a sophomore year, varsity football, had everything he could ever imagine, all the love in the world. And he just, we just don't realize how much these kids are really suffering. And I just wish I would have seen it sooner. There was really not any. They give you these signs on the internet, and they tell you, watch for this, look for this, and watch for this. And I was, after he passed away, and I went back and I was looking at these things, and I was just like, maybe one thing I could go back and say, oh, okay, maybe that makes more sense. But there wasn't any big indicator of him really suffering. And it just really hit me, because as I was going through his phone and his texts and stuff, and it was like, holy cow, he was helping so many kids that are going through this depression, this sadness, this hurt that you don't even think. You look at these kids and you're like, they're suffering, and
Right.
I just think he took on it, and it was just so much for him to hold on to, that he just couldn't take it anymore. And
Mhm.
we still don't have all the answers, obviously, but
And you may never, I mean,
yeah,
I've spoken to other families. I've spoken to other parents who've lost children from 5 years old for different reasons, whether it's sickness
yeah,
and in your case, suicide. I've come across the situation before, and the one commonality amongst all of them is that you never will have all the answers,
mm-mm,
and you're never going to fully heal from it.
yeah,
So, you know, he would have been 15 at the end of this past February.
yeah,
And um, so it's still fresh. But at what point did you decide, okay, listen, I'm not going to have all these answers, but I've got to do something. I've got to take some action of some
yeah.
kind. So is this helping you cope, spreading the message, trying to help other people?
Yeah, because so as a mom, obviously it was just in October, so it's only been 4.5 months, but so you're still going through the up and downs. But as a mom, you never want your son to be forgotten, right? Um, you don't want his death to be in vain. You don't want people to look back, and because suicide is so looked down upon, I feel like in our society, it's like we've had a few in our community, and I've never heard a word from the parents. I've never heard anybody talk about it. I've never heard anybody discuss it or anything in it. And so from day one, I've never really bowed down and just hid in the corner and not said anything about it. And that's just been kind of my drive. It's like, if Dexton can't have his second chance, then I'm going to give, and I'm going to try my hardest to even just give one person a second chance, and bring
Mhm.
more awareness and talk about it, because I'm not ashamed. I'm ashamed that I didn't see it before, and I didn't give Dexton the help he needed, but I didn't know. Um, but my drive is, I'm using Dexton's story to help bring awareness to parents, to bring awareness to these kids. My main goal is to kids. It's to these youth, because we really don't realize how much they truly are suffering. Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
you-
can we just, yeah,
yeah,
let's just dispel the notion that suicide equals shame for
hmm,
anybody or family or survivors of, people who have to dwell with the aftermath, right?
yeah,
Um, there's nothing shameful about it. I mean, I believe that obviously
it,
depression is a sickness. It's something
yeah,
that
it's a
needs to be
mental health
discussed.
issue.
We
Yeah.
can't hide it. And I think that maybe, and it's again a theory on my part, but when someone takes their life, especially as somebody of the caliber of Dexton, with the heart of a young man like him who cared for everybody, um, and you said it, he took on so much, right, with that heart of his, that maybe he felt by talking about it, or he'd let you down in a way.
Yeah.
And And
Well,
we can't have our kids feel that way, right? I mean,
yeah, and that's totally true. It's previous before this, I went through cancer and I just took on a lot, and it was a battle and it was a struggle. And Dexton did everything he could to make sure I didn't have to suffer more than I already was. And I feel like now, if he would have brought me his issues or whatever those things he was going through, I feel like he felt like that was going to burden me more. And that was and like you said, it's like these kids feel like that's more of a burden us as parents have to take on. And I don't think these kids realize, like, we would do anything. It doesn't matter. It's not a burden, it's we want you to live life, get through high school. You're okay. Like, it's just a moment. And we need to give them the tools and make sure that we have that open line of communication with these kids, that they know it's okay, even if it's not their parents, that they have their person that they know they can go to and they can say, hey, I'm really struggling, I need your help. And they know that person will just come right to them. And that's going to be their saving grace, and I don't think
yeah.
Dexton really felt like he had so many friends and stuff, but he just didn't know of a one person that he could go to and say, hey, I'm struggling.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely. And it wasn't too far uh long ago that I spoke to a little boy and his mother. She actually went to the school and tried to take some action as far as policies, anti-bullying policies, rules, just
mhm,
systemic changes within the school itself as to what actionable steps are we going to take to help curtail this problem.
mhm,
It takes all of us, right? I mean, we can't just put all of the responsibility on our schools. I mean, it starts in the
right,
home, absolutely.
right.
But you did kind of allude to in our previous talk here about we got to do more than just have pajama day for Be Kind Week, right?
Right.
Or Funny Hat Day and things like that, because in that sense, maybe the message gets lost. So do you want to expand on that?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is we found out when the whole thing happened with Dexton. His whole football team, I mean his whole school, everybody was it was a big shock to our, and we live in a small community, but it was just devastating. And they canceled school for the next 2 days. And then it was like his football team, the next day they had their playoff games and stuff. But we had the captain of the football team come to us and say, they let us talk about it for the one day that it happened, and then we weren't allowed to talk about it again. We haven't
Mm,
been able to talk about it as a team. We haven't been able to talk about it in a school. And it's not that I want you to sit there and say that, like, put Dexton on a pedestal, but it's like, why aren't you talking about this in a school? Why aren't you taking this and allowing these kids at the first of school and for 5 minutes a day to say, right now we're going to talk about mental health. We're going to, what are you struggling with? And then it only takes one person to stand up and say, I'm struggling, I need help. And then you're going to open up a whole door, right, for all these other kids, to feel like they need to talk. Oh, wow, he's struggling or she's struggling. But, anyways, it's like, they have those Be Kind weeks or these things. It's like, dress up silly, but are you really truly, like, sitting these kids down and saying, hey, do you understand why we want you to be kind? Do you see this effect that this has on a person? And bullying is a big thing, but Dexton was never bullied, right? He struggled with mental health from what we're finding out. And it's like, you're bringing these people in to have these big assemblies of mental health and how you can stand up and be a better person, but are you truly connecting with the kids? Are you truly making an impact? They're popular, they're famous people, so you're bringing them in, but is that really truly getting down to the core of what our kids are truly struggling with? And that's where I feel like I need to make the difference. It's where Dexton's story can make a difference. um, we just need to make a change of, you can't just, like you said, wear a silly hat and think that that's going to be a
yeah.
change. Not, it's not.
Yeah, what's
And it
what's going to go
obviously,
beyond the speech, right? But beyond the assembly or beyond that
yeah,
week. So,
yeah.
in your, I guess, it's early on in your journey here, but what are your plans? I mean, do you are you looking to maybe establish a foundation? Are you looking to work with people to help develop maybe curriculum to
Yeah.
go beyond that speech? Have you even thought about that? I mean, have you talked to
Yeah.
other parents?
Yeah, so a lot of people, they're like, it's taken me years to build this foundation, but I'm like ready to go. There needs to be a
Mhm.
change. And so our goal is to make a foundation. Um, and then we want to be able to, my husband really, he has this thing where he just connects with kids. I mean, the whole school just loves Carl. Dexton's friends, it's just his thing. And I'm able to connect with stories that I've had in my past. And so we feel like if we can build our platform and go to these schools and connect deeply with these kids and really make that change, because it's like, I don't feel like what they've done in the past is working. Obviously, our suicide rates are going up, right? In our
Right.
youth. Like, so that's our goal, is to build our foundation. We have big hopes and dreams, and it's obviously going to take time, but yeah, our goal is to really go to these schools, and we're going to go to school boards, and we're going up to the Salt Lake City council up there, and we're just, why is it that my son can't be a part of the graduation because he committed suicide, but this kid that wrecked on a motorcycle and died, which is, still just as devastating, but you can do a whole thing for him, but you're not bringing, why are you making it feel like it's a shameful thing?
A
Obviously,
shameful thing. Yeah.
yeah, you don't want to, you don't want to glorify it in any way, but you also want to bring light to it. And why is it my son can't be a part of this just because he committed suicide? You know what I mean? Like, that's so
Well,
wrong.
yeah.
And
So
so,
depression is
yeah,
a cancer. It is like cancer, right? It's a
yeah.
sickness. So if we can
Mhm.
honor the kid that died of cancer, or or
Right,
some rare disease, and set a special place at the graduation ceremony, that empty chair, because I've seen that before.
right,
Why can't we honor Dexton, who
right,
was also sick, as we know
right.
now?
And
Unfortunately, too
yeah,
late, but we
I
know
had
now.
another mom. She came to me because her daughter committed suicide 2 weeks before graduation, and they didn't do anything for her. She went up to Salt Lake, fought the school board up there, came down here, and it was like, they didn't do anything for her just because she had committed suicide. And it's so messed up, because you're teaching these kids to ignore it, to just shove it down and not even think about it ever again,
Right.
right?
Right.
And that
Yeah. How many
that's
lives can we save if we just, if we just take the shame out of mental illness?
right. Make it so
That,
that these
yeah.
kids, yeah, so that these kids feel like, holy crap, Dexton was suffering. I need to speak out. I need to let my mom know I'm suffering, because I don't want to put my family through that. Or, like, there's just so much we have that we're trying to just start. And by you allowing us to spread the word here is just a start for us. And we're truly thankful, because there needs to be a change. Like you said, it's these kids just feel like it's shameful to be on medicine, to be in counseling, to feel like if they talk to somebody, oh, that's embarrassing, that's shameful. And I
Right.
want that to change, because these
Yeah.
kids are truly suffering more than I even thought about suffering when I was younger. And there's just that disconnect that we're trying to
Yeah.
reconnect, so
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I mean, I just remember growing up, and 12 going on 13 years for me, years old. It was a tough time.
yeah,
uh, but nothing near what kids are going through now. And I would never ever want to grow up in this age. They have, a
no,
lot of challenges ahead of them. But it's going to take all of us to really come together if we really do want to make a difference.
hmm,
So, on that, and as a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, and I've seen that baby picture. I mean, I've been trolling you, but
yeah.
that cute picture of him when he was really little, and you called
Mhm.
him the perfect baby. If you could go back, and I know this is a tough question, but what's the one memory, your favorite memory, that just sticks out to you about Dex?
About Dexter, that's a hard one because there's so many, but honestly, my favorite memory is just how he was my everything, and he would drop everything it was like we grew up together. I was a young mom, a young single mom for a long time with Dexton, and just his smile always when he knew I was just down or something, he just made sure that I was always okay, and just the memory of his hugs and just, yeah. I mean, there's just so much about him that if you knew him, you could just feel his warmth and his just a smile. I would have to say a smile in his eyes. Every picture I would look at, it's just he had that twinkle and that smile that just took your soul and your
And
heart,
what is it about the sunsets that bring you peace?
So when he passed away, there was no note or anything like that. And my cousin woke up. She called us, and and I don't really talk to this cousin, so it was odd. And she called us and she said, "I want you to know that this just came to me. This just came to me, and you do what you want with it." And it talked about how, and it basically was a note from Dexton, is how it's read, and it talked about how I'll paint the sky for you. The sunsets are for me and given to you. And so every time there's a sunset, I just go out there and you just feel his warmth and you just feel his arms and you just feel him. And I just take in those moments and just really take him in. It's this really cute poem, and we have it on the back of his program. And yeah, just talks about how the sunsets are meant for me and they're from him. So
Well,
it's
now
just
I'll have to think about him every time I see a fantastic sunset as well.
yeah, yeah,
Britt, every platform, in order for a platform to be successful and you're building
mhm,
yours, you need to have pillars,
yeah,
right? To hold up that platform. And I think with every person you talk to, it's brick by brick. It's really supporting this, and consider me one of your biggest supporters in this. And I mean it. It's not just talk, right?
yeah.
Um, but I thank you so much for your time. I mean,
Oh,
you're brave to come out, and now we want to share it and hopefully start more dialogue in a positive way so that we could take the shame out of mental illness,
yeah,
uh, and we can make positive steps for some really actionable change. Brett,
exactly.
thanks
And
so much.
yeah,
Yeah,
and we're truly grateful for you. And anything we do is just do it for Dext. So that's going to be our hashtag and our platform, like you said. So we're very
awesome.
thankful and glad we can build this relationship, and hopefully we can move forward and make a change. So
Great. Brittney, thank you so much.
thank you.